Hi everyone. So today I'm gonna show you how you can get started with the RAG along with the Ollama, and also I'll be showing you how you can build this application using the Copilot CLI. Recently Ollama has added its Copilot CLI inside the Ollama. There are multiple coding agents like Cloud Code, Codex, Copilot CLI, OpenCode, Droid, and so many. In today's lesson, I'll be showing you how you can utilize this Copilot CLI along with the Qwen 3.6 model. Qwen 3.6 is one of the most powerful model which comes in a small language model. Basically, it is 35 billion parameter model where it has just a 3 billion parameter model as active parameter. If you have total active parameter lesser, like let's say the 3 billion, that means model is going to perform fast. Basically it can generate higher, the token speed is going to be higher there. And also we will be utilizing the RAGwire framework. So RAGwire framework is a config driven RAG framework which you can use to develop the RAG in no time. I'll be showing you here how you can finally develop applications something like this. So we will create our fast API OpenAI compatible endpoints. Thereafter we will connect it to the OpenWebAI. Thereafter you will be able to chat your data using the RAG. I hope now it is clear to you. Let's go ahead and get started with this. So first of all, what you have to do here, we are going to open here Copilot CLI. This is just a folder name, and I have opened this folder inside the VS Code. Now let me just quickly show you in this presentation how we are going to develop this. First of all, we are going to develop a fast API server, and this fast API server is going to be OpenAI compatible endpoints. And everything whatever we are going to do, all these development is going to be done as a vibe coding using the Copilot CLI and Qwen 3.6. With this, you will be able to assess the capability of Qwen 3.6 and Copilot CLI. You will see how good this Copilot CLI is and also how good Qwen 3.6 model is. We will be using also the LangChain agents, and thereafter Qwen 3 embeddings will be also used there. Apart from that, we will be also using here a Qdrant vector DB, and Qdrant vector DB will be hosted with the that will be hosted with the Docker. And these are the tools which we will be using. And remember, we are not going to write any of these codes manually. All these codes will be written by our agent itself. Basically, it will be written by our coding agent, that is the Copilot CLI. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get started with this. So first of all, you need to make sure you have your Docker installed. Once you have your Docker installed, then you will be having a Qdrant vector DB, something like this one. I'm going to delete this so that you can see how our coding agent is going to create this container from the scratch. Okay, so the Docker is there and everything is ready here. So first of all, open the terminal, and we need to make sure here we have pulled the model which we are going to use, Qwen 3.6. So that is the priority. So you need to write here Ollama pull and then the Qwen 3.6. If this model is not available in local computer, then it is gonna pull this. Once you have done this, thereafter you need to again come back here. Then let me just show you the Copilot CLI. So Copilot CLI is very powerful CLI, and the best part with this CLI comes here. It has your GitHub repository access by default, because this Copilot CLI is actually released by the GitHub itself. Because of that, it is gonna have all the access automatically. And apart from that, this Copilot CLI is going to be super capable. Actually, its capability is very high for the agentic coding, and combining this capability with the Qwen 3.6 becomes like insane, or you can say it becomes like coding beast. So either you can follow this path where you can install these using these commands. Otherwise, I would tell you here that follow along with the Ollama integration. This is the simplest which you can follow. So first of all, we are going to copy this command from here. Then you need to come here. Once you have pulled your Qwen 3.6, thereafter we are going to do it like this one. Okay. So this is going to launch our Copilot CLI, but obviously before that you have to make sure you have installed your Copilot CLI. So Copilot CLI installation method is given here based on your operating system, if it is Mac OS or if it is Linux, or you can select this method. This is going to install for all operating system. But there is a catch, your computer should have a Node.js. Otherwise you can select this method. Once you select this method, thereafter you need to open PowerShell in administrator mode. Let me just open this PowerShell in administrator mode. Thereafter you need to install your Copilot CLI. So you do it like this: winget install github.copilot. Alright, since I have already installed, so it says here the package is already installed. Otherwise it will pop up here window. Basically it will just show you here all the steps as it is installing the Copilot CLI. Once Copilot CLI is installed, thereafter it is time to launch our Copilot CLI. So copy this command. So currently it is having Kimi K2.5 model, but we will change it later. So here is the command which we need to run. We are going to change it to the Qwen 3.6. Alright, so it is going to execute here. So as it starts here, you can see here it has started. In your case, what will happen here, if you have opened a new terminal, it will ask you a permission whether you want to trust this particular folder or not. So you can say that yes, I want to trust this folder, and also I allow permission to the Copilot CLI to make all the changes in this particular directory. Okay, so that is the thing this Copilot CLI will ask you. As you can see here, now your Copilot CLI is up and ready to get started with this. I can just simply ask here a simple question like, hi, you will notice Qwen 3.6 is here and 10% token have been consumed instantly. This happens if you are running it the first time. Once you run it the first time, it will consume this much tokens. Thereafter, the token consumptions will be less. For example, if I write here hello, now you will see the token consumption is not increasing at all. Okay, so we have installed our Copilot CLI successfully. Now let's scroll it. Let's make it a little bit larger. So this is the overall goal which we are trying to do. But before that, I want to show you what are the commands which is available with the Copilot CLI. You have command like a plan. Let's say if you do it like this one, write here a plan. Thereafter you ask here some question, then it goes into the planning mode. All right. So the planning mode means it will not write any code. Overall, it will go into the discussion mode, where it will discuss the implementation with you. If you want to change the model in the runtime, you can also change your models as well. So they have this model command here. Thereafter you have here explain. Seems like model command is not coming. Okay, so they have here explain method. If you have any code actually to explain, so you can also ask here explain method as well. Otherwise, if you want all the commands here, so you can just write here the / and thereafter you can see all the commands available here. Like you have here directory. If any particular directory you want to trust, then you can add that directory here. Thereafter you have agent, allow all, ask, clear, compact, context, copy, delegate. So delegate is like if you want to create an agent which works in the background, then you can delegate agent in the background. Thereafter you have here diff, env, exit, experimental. There are so many actually. All right. So all these actually you can utilize here with the Copilot CLI. We will not be needing all of these. Maybe we need couple of only. Otherwise we will not need all these commands here. Okay, now I hope it is clear to you, and let's go ahead and clear our final goal, that what we want to create finally. So we want to create overall, the documentation, not the documentation. We want to create here the OpenAI compatible endpoints. The OpenAI compatible endpoints are like chat completion API, something like this. If you check the OpenAI API, so you will see that in OpenAI you have a V1 chat completion, something like this endpoints. Okay, so we are gonna do this one. Okay, let's come back here. Thereafter, what we'll do here, we will be using this RAGwire RAG framework. This is the config driven RAG framework. Now it is time to ask here a question to create our application here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to ask here, basically I'm going to give here the first question. So the first question is going to be a little bit larger. So I have pre-written the question, so I'm just going to paste that here and then I'll explain you overall the question here. Okay, so this is the question. Before writing any code, fetch the official RAGwire document from the GitHub. Okay, so it need to fetch the documentation for RAGwire from the GitHub. Read them fully. Create an agent.md. So for any repository, if you are doing a vibe coding, agent.md is very important. So agent.md is a default file which agent will look for any special instructions. Thereafter you have create agent.md that contains everything you have learned, all verified method, etc. everything. Signature examples, everything. Add a note at the top of agent.md that any future code changes must reread the document first, never guess. Basically this one is going to make sure that your Copilot CLI is not going to hallucinate. Basically it is the task of the Qwen 3.6 model, which is very small model. So it can hallucinate if you do not give a proper instruction. Then create a minimal fast API app with health, V1 models and V1 chat completions endpoint. Basically your main.py is going to have these endpoints. These endpoints are OpenAI compatible endpoints. And also it is going to create here a config.yaml which is going to control your RAG. And then it is also going to make sure that it adds there the quadrant vector db path as well. Alright, and then also creates the requirements.txt. So this is the instruction which I have given to my Copilot CLI. Copilot CLI is already using the Qwen 3.6. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and fire it. So it has gone into the thinking mode and it has started here execution. I'll start by creating a plan and fetching the RAGwire. So you see here it has started fetching the RAGwire. Some of the links are not working because that is the wrong repository. But it has searched here, if you notice, github.com search RAGwire. It has searched their repository and then finally it says that I have found the repository. Alright, let me fetch the full documentation. You see how good it is. Basically, Copilot CLI with Qwen 3.6 is a beast of the coding. You can clearly see how this coding is being run. All these models is running on the local computer itself. Okay, so here it says now I have fully read the official RAGwire document. Now let me create all the required file. Okay, so one thing here I want to make sure that this is actually live coding. All right, so I'm not doing any sugar coating behind the scene that it must give the good output. Okay, so everything is running here live. You might be watching this currently, but you will see everything is running here live. I can show you here the Ollama usage as well. So Ollama usage is very high, model is loaded here fully, and overall consumption is, GPU consumption is currently around 50% only. Seems like it has gone in thinking mode, and then finally you will notice here it has actually created this file here. Alright, agent.md. After creating agent.md, it is asking about the permission, whether it has permission to write it or not. So yes, and approve all file operations for the rest of the running session. Okay, so it has written here agent.md file, it has written app.py file, and it has written here config.yaml file. It also written here the requirements.txt. You see how good it is. This is fantastic actually. Okay, let's go ahead and see the agent.md. So in agent.md it says here, before writing any code, always reread the official RAGwire doc first. So this is something which we had given in our prompt. That is why it has written this here at the top of the file. You can understand that how powerful this Qwen 3.6. This is really awesome. The first time when I tested it locally, I was really surprised to see that how powerful it is. Thereafter, it has listed here GitHub repository link, PyPy link, document. You see, I did not give any of these things to my model. I just gave here a simple prompt that it need to first read the documentation, and thereafter it need to actually, create this agent.md and rest of other files. Then here it has all the installation steps. Thereafter, we will not do any of these installation steps. It will do automatically as we go ahead. Okay. Thereafter, here all other providers, it is saying that you can test it with other providers as well, like OpenAI, Google, Hugging Face, and so on. Thereafter, you have here the RAG classes. So this is how it is getting used. All right. So all the important parameters, all the important concepts which it can get from the RAG, everything is written here inside the agent.md. So this is the beauty of this Copilot CLI and Qwen 3.6. Thereafter, if we explore our app.py, in app.py, you will notice it has correctly imported the RAG setup logging. Then it did here the logging setup. Thereafter, it initialized the fast API endpoint. Okay. Then on startup here, it has started here this particular event. Thereafter, on startup, basically it is loading here the config.yaml file basically. Thereafter, it has created here a health API. Okay, health API is like whenever we want to check whether our API is running or not, we can just check that with the health API. Thereafter, it has here V1 models. Thereafter, here it has the chat completion. So this is all what we had asked to our model to write, and you can see here how it is written overall. I guess it is perfectly good code overall. Once everything is done, thereafter we will be able to test it properly without any issue. Okay, so overall now I can see our app.py is written. Thereafter seems like it is still working on, and it is trying to actually fix few things. I'm not sure what it is trying to fix, but overall it is just trying to make sure that our code is correct. Now it is saying here, now I have all the information needed. Let me update the agent.md with the precise verified details from the source code. Okay. So here is the agent.md. Okay. So it seems like it is trying to write, and yes, everything is completed. Agent.md, config.yaml, requirement txt, and everything. And here you have got all the commands which you can use to run it. All right, pip install, ragwire, fast embed, etc. Thereafter, if you have a Docker, then you can use the Docker. And this particular command you need to run for the Qdrant vector DB. This is where we will be storing actually our documentation. I mean our documents, whatever the document we will ingest here. Let's go ahead and verify our config.yaml file. In config.yaml file, you can see everything is written here correctly. All the LLM currently we are using here. Okay, and vector store is correct, retriever is there, and everything is correct here. Okay, in config.yaml. So all these are created by the model itself. Then in the requirements.txt, it says here you need to install all these. Okay, cool. Once you have done this, thereafter I want to make here some changes. For example, I want to change this nomic embed text to the Qwen embeddings. Okay, so I'm gonna say here change embeddings model to Qwen embedding and LLM model to Qwen 3.6. So you will notice all the changes will be made here inside the config.yaml. Okay, let's wait for some time, let it finish. Okay, it is thinking. It will take a little bit time to complete this overall process. Since it is live, so obviously I can't do anything. We have to wait here. Since it is Seems like config.yaml is changed here. Okay, so in config.yaml embedding is changed here. Qwen 3 embedding 0.6 billion parameter model, and LLM is also changed here. Currently we can see here Qwen 3.6. okay, cool. So it is still trying to verify behind the scene. It has gone into the thinking mode. That is actually good. Okay, thereafter, if you notice here, this says that this is how you can run the API. Let's go ahead and copy this and try to run our API if we can run this API. So what we do here, right click, and thereafter we are going to open integrated terminal. In integrated terminal, I'm gonna run here UV app host and then like this one. So as I execute this, it has started the execution. PyCache is created here. Okay, cool. You can see here our pipeline initialization has started here. Overall seems like connection cannot be made with the Qdrant client. Because of that, it is throwing the error. That means we do not have currently our Qdrant vector DB setup. So that is something which we have to do, as instruction has said here previously that we have to do that. Okay, so everything is done here. You can see all the changes it has done. Let's go ahead and delete this. Okay, so all the changes are done. Now it is time to set our Qdrant vector DB. So it has actually provided here the command, but I can also ask here to set the Qdrant vector DB as well. Okay, set the Qdrant vector DB for me. Okay, Qdrant vector DB in Docker for me. So ideally it should run this particular command which it has shown us earlier. Otherwise we will run that command and we will make sure that Qdrant vector DB is actually created. So it is trying to think that what it need to do. And also one more thing you will notice here, whatever current file is currently opened, that files is automatically attached in its context. Okay, so I want to approve here the Docker command, and here it has started here. Docker run d -d means in detached mode. Thereafter it has started here the Qdrant vector DB. Okay, and it has also changed here the URL. Ideally it should not change the URL. Overall it is saying here this is the command which you can test if your vector DB is running. Let's go ahead and test that. So we just simply come here. Thereafter we are going to test it. So you can see here health check is passed, and if you copy this command from here and if you open it here, you should be able to see your Qdrant vector DB up and running. And if you check here with the dashboard, you should be able to see your Qdrant DB is running. There is no collection currently, and here in the Docker you will notice Qdrant is running. Okay, see, this everything is being done by our Copilot CLI itself. We did not do any modification. Well, Avengers fan said that, hi bro, how can I connect with you? Is there in Discord group? I may also want to grow, but solo dev is so messy sometimes. Yes, I do have my Discord group. Let me just open the Discord for you and send it here in the comment. So here it is. Let me just see from where I can share this to you. Probably from here. Nope. Invite to the server. Okay, let me just give it to you. Yes, here it is. Okay, cool. Okay, so now everything is ready here. Let's go ahead and try to run our app.py. In fact, before that, I want to make app.py as main.py. Okay. Change app.py name to main.py. This is just personal preference. You actually don't need app.py as a main.py. It is just personal preference for me that I'm going to keep it as a main.py. Okay, so it is making all the changes. Anyway, seems like it is taking some time. So what we can do, we can just ignore this, press the escape, all right, because it is not necessary anyway. So we can work with the app.py itself. So we are going to run here app.py at the port 8000. Earlier we did not had our quadrant vector DB. This time we have our quadrant vector DB, and here it has started. All right, you can see here UVcorn is running at this particular URL. Let's copy this URL and then paste it here and check if we have our health API accessible or not. So instead of 00, we are going to make it as a local host. So local host 8000 is running. Now I'm going to check here the health. So health says yes, it is running, status okay, collection my doc, and the total document 0. That means currently we do not have any document here. So now what we need to do here, we need to make sure that some documents are ingested there. So what I do, I create here a folder as a data. I'm going to bring here some document. So I'm going to bring here two document, one from the Apple, another one for the Amazon document. So here you have Amazon's financials earning data. It is filed in Security and Exchange Commission regulatory in Washington, US. Form 10K data is this one, and total 89 pages we have here. This is the whole data. Okay, this is for the Amazon. Thereafter we have here the Apple data. All right, so this is 121 page data. Okay, so what our RAG application is going to do here, I mean our RagWire along with the Qwen 3.6 and the Copilot CLI, it is going to actually create their .py file, upload.py file. Thereafter all the data will be uploaded to the vector DB. Once it is uploaded to the vector DB, thereafter through the hybrid search, we will be able to chat with our application. Okay, so, cool. Let's come back here. So we have our data. 55%, you can see here 55% overall context window is already used. Cool. Once you have data, now it is time to ingest this data. So I'm going to ask here a simple question so that, I mean, I'm going to give here a simple prompt so that we can create upload.py file to ingest our document. So I'm going to do it like this: create upload.py file to ingest files present in the data dir. First read RagWire documents before writing the code. So it is going to create upload.py file here. All right. And then you will see here your document will be ingested in the collection. So currently, as you know, we are checking here how powerful Qwen 3.6 model is currently. Okay, so we might need to wait for some time before it finishes this upload.py. All right, so it is still doing here. And overall, you can see here how it is currently in a thinking mode. So behind the scene, what it does here actually, it reads all the documentation. Thereafter, it creates, I mean, it synthesizes the final answer based on the documentation. So you see it has gone inside the RagWire repository, and from the RagWire repository, it has got all the data, whatever it needed. Thereafter, finally, it has written here. So we need to run here python upload.py to make sure everything is uploaded. So you see here upload directory is there. Okay, we need to pass our data directory. Let's go ahead and see. Here is the data directory. It's defined here. All right, so here is the data directory. Okay, cool. I'm gonna ask here run upload.py by yourself. So it is going to run this upload.py automatically, and then all the content which is currently inside this data directory, that will be uploaded. We could have actually executed this by ourselves, but I wanted this Copilot CLI to execute this one. Yes, I want to approve here. So basically it has asked me here permission about the upload.py. So I said yes, run this python upload.py. It is trying to run here. And overall GPU consumptions you can see here. There are some consumptions, thereafter currently there is no consumption. But as it starts, ingesting the data inside our vector DB, you will be able to see some GPU consumptions. All right, seems like it has fixed the config. So there was some error in the config, seems like. So it has fixed that. After that, it is trying to run it. So you can understand here all the changes it is doing automatically. So what happened here seems like from the terminal, it is not able to access the Qdrant vector DB. Now it has changed here to a local host 633 and 3. So this change it has automatically done here, you will notice. Now it has started again upload.py. So this is the beauty of the agentic coding. We do not need to do anything here. The agentic coding is going to automatically find out whatever the problem is there. And the best part what we are doing currently here, that we are using here Qwen 3.6 model. This is really very small model as compared to Anthropic, Google Gemini or ChatGPT models which have billions of the parameters or trillions of the parameters could be there. As compared to those model, this 35 billion parameter model performance is really exceptional. So it is trying to ingest the data. Data ingestion takes time. So how the ingestion is happening, let me just explain you here through the block diagram. So in the RagWire, this is the RAG framework. So in the RagWire, you can pass any kind of the document. Thereafter, internally, RagWire creates the SHA 256 hash value so that it can avoid the duplicate document ingestion in the vector DB. Thereafter, it uses their mark it down behind the scene as a universal parser. Thereafter, splitting happens because one file can have 100 of pages. We cannot just pass all the 100 of pages to the LLM. So splitting happens here. And also the metadata extraction happens so that we can perform the filtering on the chunks as well. Then final ingestion happens in the vector DB. Then later on during our retrieval process, user query comes in, multiple embeddings gets created there like dense encoder or sparse encoder and then metadata filtering. All these goes here inside the Qdrant vector DB. Thereafter, using the reciprocal rank fusion technique, final score is merged here, and then finally final output is given here, and then that output goes to the LLM, and then final answer is generated here. So this is the overall process which is being done behind the scene using the RAG wire. So it is still thinking. Why it is still thinking? Because it is uploading these documents. These documents are quite large document, 89 page and 121 page. So it is running there behind the scene, mark it down, and also LLM to extract the metadata. Let's go ahead and see if any document is ingested here. Seems like yes, some document is ingested here. Total we have here a 39 data points currently. If you click on there, you can see Amazon 10K is ingested here. All right, and all these page content you can also see here. So you need to understand here that all these things are being done by our Copilot CLI automatically. We did not do anything here. We just asked in natural language that it need to ingest the data inside the Qdrant Vector DB. Qdrant Vector DB setup was also done by the Copilot CLI. We did not do those setups separately. And the best part is we are using here Qwen 3.6 model locally. So now it is trying to ingest our Apple 10K data. Amazon 10K data is already ingested. Once everything ingested, thereafter we will be able to test our app.py. So let's wait for some time, let it finish. Excellent. Now it is saying here run upload.py with the local host Qdrant URL is completed. Now if we check here, we should be able to see more data points. Total we have here 92 data points, and now we are having here for Apple as well. Okay, cool. So we have got for Amazon, we have got for the Apple. Now all the data have been ingested inside the Qdrant Vector DB. This is really awesome. The performance of Qwen 3.6 is excellent actually, and here it has also given the time, everything. This is really awesome. Upload successful, thereafter all the metrics are shown here. Then it has gone inside the my doc. Seems like it is also trying to test here that whether it works or not. So next step, we can perform this one for the testing purpose. It is saying if you want to test it by yourself, you can test it by yourself as well. Let's go ahead and check it whether it is really working or not. Let's go ahead and copy it from here. Thereafter, I'm going to open here a new terminal and then run it here. Seems like, okay, so because of this, it is creating a problem. We need to make sure this everything is single line actually, only then I guess it will work. Multi-line does not work. Okay, so I'm just trying to test whether it is gonna work, and seems like yes, it is gonna work here. Connected to the Qdrant Vector DB, it has extracted the data here. You can see this is really awesome. Wow, cool, great. So Copilot CLI is working. That is good. Okay, excellent. So now we know our Copilot CLI has uploaded our document, and now we are having here Ubicorn. Okay, so Ubicorn is up and running. We are having here total 8000 port where it is running. Now it is time to test it. Okay, so we are going to test it here using the Postman. Okay, excellent. I mean, really awesome. I did not expected that I would be able to vibe code this live. All right, so it has been almost 40 minutes while I have been working with this Copilot CLI, and you see I am able to code this live. Now it is time to test it here. First of all, I need to test here. It's a health. So we are going to test here with the local host 8000 health using the Postman. And this is really awesome. I can see here status is okay. Collection is my doc. Total document is 0. It is saying ideally it should not be 0. Seems like there is an issue. there is an issue in the code. So if you want to fix it, I can just simply come here at the Ollama. I can ask here, for example, I just take it here and thereafter I ask here question to fix it. Basically, I have ingested docs in the my docs collection, but health API is saying, let's say this one. Okay, so it will automatically identify the error and it will fix that error automatically. You will notice previously we ran our UVcorn server, this app.py server, this one, all right, and it is running. In meantime, while it is fixing, let's go ahead and check our another endpoint which we have here. So we created their v1 and models endpoint as well. Let's go ahead and test it. I can see here this is also running, status 200 okay we have got here. Okay, excellent, cool. Now it is time to test our chat completions API. So this is our chat completions API. Okay, this is the API endpoint. Let's go ahead and run it. But before you run this chat completion API endpoint, you have to make sure you pass here some data as well. So in the body as a JSON format, I'm passing this data like RAG agent, role, and so on. Okay, let's go ahead and pass this. So it is going to execute. And in meantime, if you check here, UVcorn. So in UVcorn, we have got health and v1 models. Currently, we have not got our v1 chat completions, but we will get that. And yes, we have got here. Okay, RAG pipeline, v1 chat completions. And here I can see here, I have found no relevant documents for your query. That is fine. But overall, this chat completion API is actually running. Okay, don't worry about this. We will fix this. Seems like some issue is there and it is trying to identify those issues. In meantime, we can just check here. My docs is there. It should be able to get the documents without any issues. Okay, so issue is likely that this one returns a different field name that what I used in app.py. Let me check. Basically, it is trying to fix it here. Okay, and here you will notice it is trying to read this pipeline.py as well so that it can fix the code. In meantime, while it is writing the code, we can also inspect this by ourselves as well. Let's go ahead and come back here. So this is the app.py. Inside app.py, we have here our v1 chat completions. In v1 chat completions, you will notice our user query is getting extracted here. Okay, and then chat completion response is actually identic base model is created there automatically. All these codes were written by our Qwen 3.6 with the Copilot CLI automatically. This is where the retrieval happened. All right, top K comes from the request automatically. Thereafter, I found no relevant documents and so on. So this is fine. That is coming. There is no issue with that because I have already asked my Copilot CLI to fix it. So it is trying to fix here. Okay, so through this, it is trying to fix here. While it is trying to fix, let me just show you how you can test this API using the inbuilt fast API document. For example, our fast API is currently running at port 8000. If you type here docs, then you can see RAGwire API. So these are the API which we have implemented. Health. If you just click on here, try out, you can try it out by yourselves. Okay, so you can just execute this and then finally you can see the output here. This is the response for the health. Similarly, for the model, you can try it out. If any parameter this model accepts, then that parameter will come here. Otherwise, it will not come. It has executed. It has given here. Thereafter, you have your v1 chat completions. Click on here, expand it. Thereafter, you can try it out. So in its request body, these are the parameters which need to be passed here, like role, user, content, top K, model. Okay, so seems like earlier we had our wrong model, but the content here I'm gonna ask here Apple earning. Let's say what is Apple earning. Let's go ahead and execute this. So it is trying to execute here, and seems like still it is saying here no relevant document is found. Let's come back here. Okay, so it is still fixing here. Quadrant collection confirms 92 points are stored there, and it is trying to fix that as well. Okay, so it is trying to fix that. As you see, GPU consumption is very high. That means it is running behind the scene to fix it. And somehow this rag.retrieve is giving the 0 document. And here we have config.yaml. Config.yaml seems perfectly fine, no issue with that. GetStat method works correctly, returns 92 when called directly, but health endpoint returns 0. Let me check the health endpoints. So now it is reading app.py so that it can fix the health endpoint. So we have to wait for some time since it is live coding. So obviously I cannot stop the video to get it finished. So it will run, it will finish. Thereafter we will again try to fix our API chat completion endpoint. Seems like some modification is made here. While the modification is made, it will automatically reload here. In fact, we can run it into a reload mode as well. So we can write it like this one. So whenever changes will be detected, our application will reload automatically. It is connected with the quadrant vector DB. And here it is trying to test that if everything is working fine. It has written the code behind the scene automatically to test it whether everything is fine or not. So this is, I can say that the downside of the live coding. Sometime if your model gets stuck somewhere, so if it gets stuck somewhere, that means we have to wait for that much of time. Until and unless it finishes, we won't be able to move forward. In meantime, guys, if you have any questions, you can ask that, or if you have any suggestions, you can give that as well. Okay, so it is still thinking. In meantime, while it is still in thinking mode, we can test our endpoint once more. Okay, so there was some change, so that automatically reloaded. A little bit change was made there. I'm gonna ask the same question again here. I'll check if it is able to answer us. This is the question, this is the curl request which I have actually executed. For the answer, seems like it is taking time. That means ideally it should give us the answer now. Yes, excellent. Wow, this is awesome. You see, our Copilot CLI is really excellent, and not just the Copilot CLI agent, but I would say that the performance of Qwen 3.6 is also very high. You can see it live here. All right, so we did everything live. Earlier it was giving error to us, but now it has fixed everything and it is giving us the output. All right, I'm gonna just say that okay, it is just trying to understand here whatever the changes it has made, whether everything is working correctly or not. All right, let's go ahead and check that here as well. So in the Postman, we are also going to check it here. Let's run this. What is Apple's revenue? It is executing. Once execution is done, then it will definitely show us the final output. In meantime, while it is running, we have been talking a lot about the OpenAI endpoints. Let's go ahead and check OpenAI endpoints, how it looks. Okay. So OpenAI endpoints look like this. This is what we are implementing, like V1 models. All right. Thereafter, you have V1 chat completions. These are OpenAI endpoint. Okay. So if you are making any application and you want maximum compatibility with existing document, I mean with existing maximum compatibility with existing UI framework, then you have to make sure make it as OpenAI compatible endpoints. Okay, cool. Let's come back here again and see if everything is done. Seems like some process is running and it is trying to stop something. Okay, I'll give all the command, no worry about that. So seems like it has stopped this one. Anyway, okay, so our chat completion is working here, that we can check here. Now, as I promised you earlier, that I want to show you something like this, where we will be running our Open Web UI, and then we will connect our agent with Open Web UI. So let's go ahead and come back and explain you how you can work with the Open Web UI. Open Web UI is open source UI. You can first install it using this command, pip install Open Web UI. You have to make sure you open your terminal and you have a Python 3.12. At the time of making this video, let me just run this UVcorn here again. So it will run UVcorn automatically here for the testing purpose. Okay, open command prompt. So at the time of recording this video, what happened here, currently Open Web UI does not support Python above 3.12. So you have to make sure that you have a Python 3.12. Okay, Python 3.12 is activated in my case. Thereafter, I'm going to install Open Web UI. Okay, cool. UVcorn has executed successfully. If you check here, so it was trying to execute that and it was able to execute that successfully. So you see how good it is. It has tried everything, right? Without trying everything, it did not give us any status permission, I mean confirmation. Health endpoints now returns 92 after restarting the fast API server. There was the root cause, like Fast API app was started before the documents were ingested. Okay, I got it. So actually the problem was their document started, I mean Fast API server we had started, but it did not reload after data ingestion changed. Okay, so we are installing here OpenWeb UI. Let it finish. It is trying to do here the final test just to verify that if everything is 100% correct and accurate, everything is working good. And ideally it should be able to get that result, right? Because we are getting those results here without any issue. We also got here as well. In meantime, we can check if our web UI is installed. It is still installing. Yeah, seems like it has installed. Now let's go ahead and run our open web UI. Copy this command from here and run it here. So our open web UI has started here. Seems like no module found, something like that. So we can install it. Pip install AIO SQLite. Let's run this. All right, here your open web UI has started. Application startup is successful. It is done. Once your application startup is successful, thereafter come here and then you are gonna get here the link. So this is the link where we can test it. Copy this. Otherwise I can just open it here itself. So the first time if you open it, it will ask you to sign up for this and it will ask you to create the email and the password. Once you create that, thereafter you would be able to actually log in inside the open web UI. Okay, if it is the first time for you, you might not see the chats here. Okay, and the RAG model is there. Let's go ahead and ask here if we can get the answer. And seems like yes, it is able to give us the answer here. And this whole answer what you are seeing currently, all right, this whole answer is coming as a retrieved document. All right, so now the first time if you do this setup, how you need to do this, you need to come here inside the admin panel. Inside the admin panel you are going to have here the setting. Then inside the setting you are going to have here the connection. In open API connection you are going to click here plus sign. In a plus sign you need to provide this API localhost 8000 v1. This is where our server is currently running. Once you do this, it will automatically identify whatever the model is currently there. So we have here RAG model. Okay, that is why if we ask about, let's say, Google earning, we should be able to get the data related to the Google's. All right, this data doesn't look good here because we have not added agent as of now, but this is the data which you are seeing currently. This is the whole data. Okay, okay, all right, now what we do here, we come back again here. Our web UI is running perfectly fine, no issue with that. We come back here, we check if it has executed. Seems like everything is done here. A final verification I'm gonna make here with the chat completion API, and if it is working. What is Google revenue? Okay, seems like chat completion is not working 100% correct because something it has changed there. We can come here app.py. Alright, so what we do here now, we are going to add here the agent inside app.py. Thereafter we can verify if it is working or not. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna ask here that add an agent inside app.py. Let's go ahead and ask it here. So before writing any code, reread agent.md and fetch fresh docs for any library you plan to use. Do not use any deprecated API. Add a RAG agent to app.py with tools for searching documents, filtering by metadata, use documents, etc. Okay, cool. So this time what we are going to do here, inside app.py, currently if you notice, we don't have any agent here. Only RAG retrieval is being done here, and then final return is being returned here, right? So the final return is being final document is being returned automatically. So it is going to modify our app.py so that it can add there the LangChain agent. So since it is live coding, so obviously it will take some time. It has already entered into the thinking mode. Overall GPU consumption is very high. Let me first reread the current documentation and fetch fresh docs from the source code. It is trying to read first of all agent.md, because agent.md have here all the instructions which it needs here. And this agent.md was created automatically by this model itself when we started this particular live coding session. One more thing you will notice here, as soon as it reaches here 80% of the context window, it has gone into the compacting the conversation history. Basically, it is going to compress your context into a smaller context so that it can free up some memory. Overall context window available with Qwen 3.6 is 240,000 tokens total. Out of those, 80% is already consumed. Now it is trying to extract the pipeline.py from the GitHub automatically. And it is compacted here, only 13% right now you can see overall. So a checkpoint is created here. We can refer checkpoint with this command if we want. and now it has started reading the documentation. app.py it has read here. Now I have here full RAG wire source verified. Alright, everything is there. Now let me add RAG agent to app minimal code tools for searching, filtering metadata, and then finally generating the agent prompt. Okay, so seems like it has stopped the execution here. After the compacting it, we need to ask the same question once again. Let's go ahead and ask the same question. This was our question here. Before writing any code, reread agent.md, fetch the fresh doc for any library you plan to use. Now it has agent.md. I have read the agent.md. It started here writing the code. It has got the requirement config.yaml. Now I'll add the RAG agent with the minimal code using only the verified methods. Now it is going to write the code inside this app.py. Currently we are returning our raw extracted chunks automatically. Search document just got added. If you have noticed here, just got added. Get filter context is also added here. Let's go ahead and see if anything else is added. Get available filter is also added. Get filter value is also added. Okay, cool, good. It has started adding. Let me check if server is running and restart it. Alright, seems like it has added everything. If I scroll it here down, I can see here V1 chat completions. Chat completion is returned here. Thereafter you have it here, extracted filter is there. Then using extracted filter, search document is being done here. Metadata preparation is done there. All right. Let's go ahead and approve this. And seems like it has created here a tool, something like that. Let's go ahead and see if it has added the Ollama here or not, the agent one. Chat Ollama. No, doesn't seems like it has added. So we have to ask again separately to add the agent. Currently it has added here utility methods for the RAG. But seems like it did not add here the agent as of now. Okay, I want to allow this. So whatever it is doing, I'm just allowing it. Let it be. Our app is running. All right. Okay, all the check it is doing behind the scene. It is verifying if everything is good. And also I see here create agent seems like is not called as of now. So that is something which I'll ask here separately to add the create agent. So one thing you will notice, all the steps it is doing automatically without any intervention. So it is trying to kill the old process and other stuffs. So let it do. Thereafter it will automatically verify if everything is good. Okay, it is trying to kill the process. All right, it is testing here if it is running. All right, whenever your agent gets stuck in infinite loop, what we can do, we can just ignore that. Let's go ahead and clear this one. So I'm gonna clear it first of all. Okay, a new session has started here. This time what I'm gonna ask here a question that add the LangChain agent inside this V1 completions. All right. So I'm gonna here add LangChain agent in endpoint. Apart from this, I'm gonna give here other instructions. So like it need to reread the agent.md and other stuff. So I do it like this one so that it can take all the latest code only. All right. It is just trying to collect all the information behind the scene. So sometimes something like this you can see, this is the problem with the CLI currently. It gets stuck in infinite loop. So if it gets stuck in infinite loop, then what you can do, you can stop it. Thereafter you can restart it again. So it is going to restart something like this. Thereafter I'm going to paste the same question again. So it is trying to reload the agent.py. Thereafter it has gone to the LangChain APIs. It is trying to fetch all the content from the LangChain documentation. It has got the RAG documentation, LLM's full text. Now it has all the clear picture to implement the agent. I'm going to approve the plan. Plan.md is here. Alright, here is the problem which it has mentioned. These are the approach which it want to follow. Latest API references are these, like create agent, chat Ollama, and so on. And these are the dependencies. You see how good this GitHub Copilot CLI is. It is doing all these automatically. Adding LangChain agent to view and chat completion endpoint. Yes, I want to approve pip install. You can see here chat Ollama is added there. System prompt is added, agent is added. This is build agent actually. This build agent will be used inside this API. Here, agent is there. Thereafter it asks here, basically, it is gonna stream the output at the UI side, and all of these code, whatever you are seeing here, is written automatically. All API verified against official docs implemented. The app imports cleanly and 4 routes are registered. You see, that is great. All right, let's go ahead and restart it. So we are restarting our server. Thereafter it is time to test it here with the chat completions. So first I test it here. Let's check for the Apple revenue. Seems like it is giving here the Apple one. Okay, so seems like it is not changing the output. Seems like still something is missing behind the scene. So what I'll ask here, give me curl request to test chat completion endpoint. It is gonna give me a curl request automatically. Multi-turn conversation is there. Use agent is true. So basically this whole curl request I'm gonna take from here. Thereafter, Open git bash. Git bash supports the multi-line. Paste it here. Thereafter I'm gonna ask here. Let's copy this from here. Thereafter paste it here. So it will automatically identify the error and it will fix it. Single line version will work. Alright, so because of the backslash, seems like the problem was there. Let's copy this, paste it here. Seems like some problem is still there. Let's copy this one. And yes, it has executed successfully, but output is not correct actually, seems like. So we need to ask here that it should fix the output first of all. So now I have understood the problem. I need to tell my model that what problem it need to fix here. So whenever I call chat completion API endpoints, it is giving me some cache output every time for all query. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. So it is going to read this app.py. So it is just trying to investigate that what could be the root cause. Okay, it is running. Okay, so the hardware currently which I am using is this is RTX 5090. Here you can check it out. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090. And the RAM which I am using currently, that goes to the 96 GB. Found the issue, Jaguar has multiple internal cache and only stored value cache is being cleared. Additionally, there could be response caching from Ollama chat Llama model. Let me fix both. So it is editing app.py. Let me add cache invalidation in startup handler and helper function. So you can understand how good it is. It has automatically identified its error and it is now trying to fix it. All right, so seems like it has fixed the app.py. I can see here multiple time it has restarted after the fix. Since it is live coding, so we have to wait for some time to let it finish. Okay, so we are still waiting. Now it is verifying if everything is working correctly or not. So it says here restart and test again. Debug log will also print the collection stats and response length to help diagnosis further. Let's go ahead and restart. Ideally it must have restarted automatically, but I just want to make sure it restarts. Thereafter I come here and then I'm gonna run it again. All right, it is running and it has received here the query. What is the Amazon's revenue? Collection name is my dog. Document is this much. Application startup was completed. Agent is invoked with one message, as it tells previously that it has added there the log so that we can verify if it is working fine. And using extracted filter, company name as the Amazon, retrieved 0 document because currently there is no message like that. All right, no document found for this query. That is fine, no issue with that. But overall now I can see here that it has started working, and here I can see the documents. The final document is shown there. All right, so the first time it did not find document, but seems like the later on it got here some document, and based on that it has given some response here. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and ask the same question here. So I'm gonna here open new chat. What is Apple revenue? So this request is going to our application here. What is Apple revenue? As you see, agent invoked one message. So 0 document is extracted the first time. So this document extraction could be wrong because of the metadata which we used earlier. Because of that it could be a problematic. It is still figuring out that how it can get the answer from our database. So this time it is trying here a different company name. And this time it has retrieved here the 5 documents. So you can understand here how smart your agent is here. If it did not get the answer in the first retrieve, it will keep retrieving to get the correct answer. Once everything it has got, thereafter it will display it here. Alright, so it is still trying to get more data, more document. For other queries like Apple total net sales revenue, etc. So the currently which you are seeing here, 0 document is extracted. This is coming because of the document in JSON which we did earlier. There in our document in JSON, we don't have any company name as of now. So whenever it goes and filter out the company name, at that time it is getting no content there. So this is something which we can ask our CLI to fix first of all. Once that is fixed, thereafter all of this will automatically get fixed. Otherwise it will stuck here in this particular loop and will keep trying to get the data. Okay, so it is still trying to get the data. In meantime, if you are wondering how you can deploy your model in the production, I have a Udemy course that is the Advanced RAG Build and Deploy Production GenAI app. This is the course which tells you how you can build your own RAG application in no time and also how you can deploy it in production. The link for this course is already given in the video description. You can get it from there. So we have to wait for some time, let it finish. So seems like it will keep trying until it gets the answer. Otherwise what we can do, we can just stop it and we can ask our model to fix the upload.py. Okay, so I'm gonna ask here simple question that fix upload.py with financial metadata YAML file. Attach it in config.yaml. First check the documentation. Let's run this. So what it is going to do, it is going to fix this config.yaml and also the metadata extraction process. Otherwise this will keep coming. Okay, so what we can do, we can actually stop this, otherwise our GPU is getting consumed by both process. With the control and C. So that Ollama can create metadata.yaml for financial metadata field, then it can add there, thereafter it will call upload.py once again. So here metadata.yaml is created, company name is here, document type is there, fiscal quarter is there, and all these stuffs are here. Alright, meta.yaml is created. It is going to add here metadata.yaml. This is not getting actually killed. We should kill that. Once metadata.yaml is modified, thereafter we should upload it. So it is checking right now the Python file, upload file to fix it. So as our project is becoming here larger and larger, this will take time. So behind the scene it is trying to identify what are the other fixes which it need to do. See, it is trying to read the documentation here, the latest doc. Based on the official doc, I see the metadata configuration is already correct in your file. Let me verify upload.py if it works perfectly. Alright, so it is still seems like thinking behind the scene, and it is trying to fix our config.yaml and metadata.yaml. In metadata, it has the company name, doc type, fiscal quarter, and fiscal year. All these should be extracted separately. Once it has finished, thereafter we will run upload.py once again. Alright, it seems like it is trying to verify behind the scene and it is not able to do. Whenever it goes beyond a certain limit, what we can do, we can just stop it and then we can restart it again. That's the one thing. Otherwise, we can just leave it, let it complete. Once it completes its thinking, thereafter it will be able to fix everything automatically. Seems like it has gone in thinking mode, very deep thinking mode. So with escape, I'm just gonna kill it. Thereafter, I'm gonna ask here, write prompt, write financial prompt in metadata.yaml. Overall, if you see this metadata.yaml and if you come here at the RAG wire, the RAG wire getting started, you are going to see here metadata schema example. So you are going to see it like this one. Seems like this field is already created and we are expecting it to add this prompt. If it is not able to do that, we can do that manually, and thereafter we can just simply execute our upload.py and then it will automatically upload the new data. So that is the one thing. If you want to complete it quickly, I can just simply show you. I can just copy it here. I can just put here escape so that it can close it here. Since it is small model, so it takes a lot of time to complete it. I have got here prompt. Fields are already there. In config.yaml, you have everything here. Seems like correct. Only force recreate need to be true here, so that it can recreate once again. That's all you have to do here. Thereafter, we need to come here and we need to run here python upload.py. So this upload.py is going to upload these documents. It is actually going to re-upload. So it has deleted the existing collection, that is the my doc, and it has started here in JSON for the documents. It might take a while to ingest this document, like 2 to 3 minutes generally it takes to ingest the document. Alright, so first document is ingested. Let's go ahead and come here and check in our collection. We have total 39. Let's check it here. So this time we are getting here company name properly, document type and the fiscal year. So this is what we wanted actually. This time we are getting all the metadata correctly. Once you have got all the metadata correctly, thereafter we can just simply run our server and then we can do our chatting with our open web UI. Once it finishes, then we will start our server. Now if you have come this far, then you know how to do this vibe coding with the Qwen 3.6 and GitHub Copilot CLI. Let's go ahead and run this. Our unicorn server. It is starting and it has started now. All the initialization is done here. Seems like one thing we did wrong here, that actually we need to run it once again. Upload.py. Because this force recreate actually deleted our previous collection. We have to make it false actually. It is ingesting. Because if you come here and refresh this, now you see there is no document. So we have to wait for 2 to 3 minutes once again. First document is ingested. We can check here. Company name, doc type, fiscal year. Seems like fiscal year is not correctly extracted, but company name and doc type is extracted correctly. First document took almost 48 seconds to ingest. Second will also take around that much time only. Okay, so everything is ingested here. Now let's run our server. Server has started here. Everything is loaded here with the existing collection, my docs. Application startup has completed here. Let's come back here and ask the same question again. So the same question we are asking here. Now you can see query is received here. What is Amazon revenue, collection my docs, document total available there 92. It should give us the result here. Company name Amazon.com Inc. 5 documents have been retrieved. So this is something which we were getting. This is the error. This is where we were getting the error previously, that 0 documents were getting extracted because in metadata we did not had there any kind of the company name. But this time we are having, because of that it is able to extract these correctly. Now it is trying to get the more data to give the proper output, but don't worry about that. It will give you the final result based on what your information is available there. But overall, this is the agentic nature, that it try to find out various kind of documents first, thereafter gives the output. So it has got here the another output, retrieved 5 documents for query, consolidated net sales, total revenue, etc. Finally, it will give us the good output and the final output. Another chunk is retrieved here for consolidated net sales. So it has broken our simple query into multiple subquery, and for all those subqueries it is trying to get the answer. Once it gets the answer for all subqueries, then it will give us the final answer. Alright, so here is the final answer. Seems like it is saying no content found. This is wrong. This shouldn't be like that. Anyway, so what we can do, we can just simply come here in our open web UI, new chat open. I'm gonna ask here, what is Apple, let's say net sales, I'm gonna ask here. And if you want to specify year, you can specify the year as well. Seems like fiscal year is not there. Because of that, it was not able to tell us the fiscal year correctly. Alright, for some fiscal year is wrong there, and for some fiscal year is not there anyway. So I'm gonna ask here simple question, what is the Apple net sales? Let's run this. It has started the execution. Now at least by now you must have understood here that how you can vibe code using Qwen 3.6 model, and overall its performance capability you must have understood by this time, that how good this particular model is currently. This is really awesome model. Overall, if you have a time, then you can complete your project by doing vibe coding with this particular model. Alright, so seems like here is the output. That output we can check here. So one thing I see here, that it is still giving us the RAG output. Alright. So it is still giving us the RAG output, which we can ask our Copilot chat UI to fix it. For example, we can ask here that I'm still getting raw retrieved documents. In chat completion, API endpoint response. So if you check your app.py, in app.py, if we call our chat completion endpoint, we should be getting the response from the agent. Let's remove a use agent and make sure API endpoint always return agent response only. Also make agent prompt simple, because this time we have very complex agent prompt here. Also make agent prompt simple. So Qwen 3.6 is getting used here. It has gone in thinking mode. It will think and then it will fix the code. Alright, so it is thinking and it is trying to fix the code. It has started the edit in app.py. So 28 lines of code is written here. 92 lines of code is removed from the app.py. Basically cleaning is being done, seems like. Alright, let it finish. So waiting is something which nobody likes actually, even me. So I've been waiting since quite some time. Now it is finally going to verify app.py, all the changes. Agent prompt is simplified here. Which is good. All right, so all the changes, whatever the changes we had asked, everything is made, and now I can use this curl request to verify the result. Let's go ahead and use this curl request from here. Seems like curl is not correct anyway. We can directly verify this. All the changes are actually done here. I mean, reload it. Okay, now it is time to test it. So I'm gonna test it here. What is Apple revenue? So come here and check what is Apple's revenue. Request is received here. Filter company name, Apple link is extracted, and also 5 documents are retrieved from the Qdrant vector DB. You can check it here. Once final result is generated, we will be able to see those here. Now it is trying to break it down into multiple sub query. So another query, it has written there Apple sales total revenue in 2024. For another sub query, it has got here 5 document. Basically, it is trying to collect all the data together. Thereafter, it will give us the final output. You can see here. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. Wow. So in 2 hours, 3 minutes, we are able to build this application. Wow. This is awesome. Finally, we have got here the output. I was expecting output something like this. So based on the Apple 10K filing for fiscal year ended this, these are the earning. Wow, this is awesome. Wow, super cool, good. Great. So after trying it out for almost 2 hours, we are able to code our RAG application using the Copilot CLI, Qwen 3.6, and also the Ollama. So this is where we are running our open web UI. This is where we are running our application. And then finally, this is where we are currently running our Copilot CLI. Excellent. Wow, this is awesome. Let me just quickly show you the final version of this repository, which I expect to be. Basically, let's say if I want to deploy it in a production, then I will be needing here Docker file. Let me ask my agent to create a Docker file so that I can host it on any platform wherever I want here. Now you can ask here additional questions like build the API endpoints, documentation, or you can review the code. Whatever you want to do, you can do all those. But overall, I'm really super happy that finally we are able to complete our application with the Qwen 3.6 only. This is really awesome. So this is going to be a final Docker file. Thereafter, I'll stop this live streaming. And I have one request to you guys. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe this channel so that whenever I publish new videos or I come live, you would be able to get the notification immediately. So the Docker file is created. Docker ignore is also created. Here you can see the Docker file. Python 3.12. All right. All the dependencies, requirements.txt is installed here. Thereafter at stage 2, all right, all these verifications are being done. The final health check is done there. Final Docker compose is also created here. This is really awesome. All right, excellent. So this repository is complete here, and This Docker you can use to deploy it wherever you want. Let's say you want to deploy it on AWS, GCP, or wherever you want to deploy. If you are looking for a full course, a complete course, end-to-end project deployment course, I already have published a new course on the Udemy Advanced RAG Build and Deploy Production GenAI Application. You can enroll in this particular course where I teach multi-agent RAG with LangChain, Qai, AutoGen, Microsoft Agent Framework, and so on. You can take this course and thereafter you can finally deploy it on multiple platforms. Like you can deploy it on Render, you can deploy it on Railway, AWS, GCP, Azure, or wherever you want, you can deploy it. Okay. Finally, you will notice our Docker Compose is created here. Our Docker file is also created, and you will also find out here the Docker ignore. In the Docker ignore, it is going to ignore unnecessary files, environment variables, and so on, because we don't want those files inside the Docker. Excellent. This is really awesome. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Overall 2 hours 7 to 8 minutes it took to complete our application. If you have any doubt, any questions, you can ask that in the Q&A section. I'm always here to help you guys. Bye bye. Take care.